Boy,
No. Every fucking show, man. Every show you do that.
Andrew DeWitt.
God.
Oh, there's no drop board, dude. We're not doing drops in this goddamn
This is
thing.
Ryan O'Neal. Hey, I like...
No,
from Mexico City, the Danish.
Why are you Michael Buffering yourself now?
I like
That's
that.
your new
I
thing.
think
That's the great tunes you
You
just
got
played
Andrew
there.
DeWitt, DeWittiot on Twitter to follow him. And you got Jeff and Ryan share Twitter. They're what are you guys moron? No, you're at Danish and O'Neal. So
Dude, I like that intro. I like that song.
Was that Arcade Fire?
No.
no,
That's
that
old
wasn't
school,
Arcade
dude.
Fire.
Where was it? I just heard
I'm not
it.
getting. You can Shazam the episode.
Depeche
when it
Mode?
comes out.
Shazam the episode.
It was,
Or something Jeff will never do. By the way,
Those after the guy killed himself, they became New Order, which is one of my favorite bands
Depeche
of all
Mode.
time.
New Order is one of your
I
favorite
love
bands
New
of all
Order.
time?
I love it.
Was that Depeche Mode?
Temptation?
No,
Who was it?
No,
NXS?
No.
What
it's,
band is that?
What the fuck? I can't think of its
I'm
name.
not going to tell
They made the
anyone.
movie
You don't
Control
know
about
That's
it.
no.
I'm looking at the goddamn thing. I'm going to minimize
Give
it
me the
right now
name.
so you
It's- I
can't
can't-
fucking know.
my
it.
fucking
Joy
head-
Division, you
Yes.
idiot.
Oh, okay.
It's named after the Nazis, the
You know
group,
what I
the
love
group of
it?
blonde women that Nazis had for their soldiers to fuck so they'd say happy and have
that's
every babies.
Why do you think I don't like it?
Oh, because Danish is a Jew.
What I
He
loved
doesn't know.
about Joy Division and New Order is it had that like cold, sterile feel to it. It was like very. It was before industrial.
Can I? I'm very.
That's my
What
album.
the fuck are you like some like Outcast and Pitchfork magazine? What the
I'm
fuck?
very distracted because DeWitt keeps staring at this lady.
Last episode, we talked about DeWitt doing a drawing of a pirate lady for a web series for her
He
explosion.
keeps
It's
staring.
gonna come
He
up.
keeps staring
And he
at it.
keeps making her tits
And
and
last
nipples
podcast,
bigger
this guy,
and
he
bigger.
keeps going back to the computer and because while we're doing the podcast, fucking with her, making her tits bigger
What do you
and
keep
smaller,
staring at it like this?
and then staring at her tits.
I've got to angle the sword. She's holding a cutlass. I got to angle it a little more up,
say a
like it's
cutlass?
resting. A cutlass. Yeah.
And yeah, you should also, again, like last episode, take her fucking Adam's apple out, dude.
I did.
Or give her a bigger cock.
That's not an Adam's apple. That's where the clavicle is on the fucking.
All right, we're gonna
chest.
take a
Wait,
cut.
can I-
We're gonna
can
put a
I-
picture of this on the
Yeah.
website for this episode, and people tweeted us at DeWittiot on Twitter. That's his Twitter name, not the nickname.
Look at
we've
that
given him.
and talk about the Adams. Apple.
Yeah, the Adam's apple, or tweeted us at Boner City USA.
An Adam's apple is fuck it. I've explained
Can
this.
you give her
1,000
bigger?
times.
Like I like a nipple that goes around the whole titty, pretty
Oh,
much.
you want like a pancake?
What, like a
nipple?
fucking oil can,
no,
like a big
bigger
oil
than a
can nipple, like a
big
tuna
old,
fish can?
bigger than a pancake.
I'll do you one better. I'm
I
gonna
want
put.
them scrambled
How
eggy.
big's a pan
Listen.
can? What the fuck?
I'll do you one
Lots of
better.
braille
I'm
bumps.
gonna put some thick blue veins all over.
You're gonna give her some garden nose titties?
Oh, can you give her some stretch marks?
Some big
Yeah.
garden nose titties.
I'll give you some stretch marks and some nice thick blue veins all over this.
I
Fucking
like
No,
those-
dark
I like
green
the
ones,
titties
dude,
that
garden
you can,
toast.
like squeeze together. You can rub your fingers together because they're so saggy, like a
Okay.
big old saggy droopy titty.
Here's the deal.
You
though.
want that?
Yeah, I love it.
When I was in middle school, I drew.
So
naked
your
women.
your ideal night would be listening to New Order and then just playing with droopy saggy titties.
Yeah, that joke I have about tying them in a knot while you titty fuck them, that's my dream.
This guy wants to do balloon animals with someone's tits.
Yeah.
I heard you say, DeWitt, that you used to draw naked women in
When I was in
school.
middle school, I didn't have access to pornography, so I just used to draw.
Andrew's parents also wouldn't let him swear. He had to call farts bottom burps.
Yeah, exactly. So
And P was TT.
yeah, it was, and
You could buy the Andrew DeWitt Family Dictionary to find out what all this stuff means.
And humping the floor was laying down with my pillow.
And that was pants off humping the floor, by the way.
Laying down and humping the floor was Wednesday. At the house.
So I used to draw naked women, and the thing I would do is I'd draw like Psylocke and Rogue from X-Men, diking it out all the time. And
And then you'd beat off to him.
Yeah, and I'd beat off to
Did
it.
you just want to get beat up by other people?
It's like you went out of your way to make yourself an outcast. Like more, though, than other kids.
You read the Outcast manual. It's like, have overly strict parents, go out of your way to advertise your nerdy
Stand
interest.
out.
Well, not to mention the one thing that we found out that DeWitt and I share, we're recovering retards.
Yeah, we were
They
both
were-
in learning disability.
You're both in
classes.
special ed.
First through fifth for me.
It was mine was second through fifth
And
grade.
Brian, what did you call yourself?
I'm the blade of retards. Like, I could walk with regular folk.
You were
and
a
with
day
retards.
walker?
I was a day walker.
I reckon I like these tater tots.
Yeah, when you said Blade, we thought you shortened it for Sling Blade.
No,
like you thought that
Blade
was
from the
cool.
movie. I'm Wesley Snipes, not.
I reckon I like
what's
this
his name?
chicken cutlet.
Not Billy Bob Thornton.
I reckon I like this.
But there were a lot of kids like that.
Wait, so what was you guys both had the same disability? What was?
I like mustard.
We're both dyslexic. We're both
But you said
dyslexic.
And
Okay.
we have learning disabilities.
We have learning
And they thought you were
disabilities.
like actually retarded
Yes.
at first, right?
Yeah, they did, and they both did IQ tests on us, and we
In
have
different
not
states
the
in different
exact
worlds.
Same IQ.
Yeah, we came in pretty identical.
You
on
guys
that.
couldn't be any more different, but any more the same.
It's very
Which
weird.
I might add was a very high IQ.
We both have a very high IQ.
High 80s, guys. High 80s.
It's nice. We have a
Why
nice.
won't you say it? Well, then say, what was
Listen,
your IQ?
listen, we have a nice thick IQ.
It's not long. It's
Mine's-
not long, but it's
mine's
girthy. You'll
very
you'll feel
girthy.
it. You'll feel it.
I've got a good head on my eye. So
let's-
a good
Let's
bell-shaped head.
Let's do a tale of the tape. Let's talk about your DeWitt's retard class experience.
It was-
versus
it was-
O'Neill.
It's embarrassing. Like they pull you out of class for certain
lice checks,
certain
and stuff like
whatever
that.
they're teaching you.
Yep.
And you have to go in, and you're literally in class with legit retarded kids.
With
They're
incredible
having
strength.
outbursts.
With
Some of them
incredible
smell
strength.
like pee.
They have
Like-
hard-ons. They're all wearing
Yeah,
sweatpants.
there's a lot of guys. I mean, there are guys there. This
Like
is
you.
not even a joke, but with helmets.
Yeah.
and they're like you're literally being held down,
Were
almost
you-
in like a jujitsu triangle lock.
You're like the
they're
Shawshank
going
guys.
crazy.
Like, hey man, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. You're like,
So this is before like the days of reading specialists, obviously, right?
Yeah. And the
I
thing
got
was,
one when I was in 5th grade. I got
Mine
a
was
reading
mine was
specialist.
numbers. My thing was numbers.
Mine was numbers, and I couldn't read at all.
My mom is actually a reading specialist.
Oh, cool, man.
Hey, mom.
please never listen to this, Mr.
So
Yeah.
I have a thing
Don't.
called linguistic personification synesthesia.
We weren't that sophisticated. It's you don't know how to read, and you're
Ryan
shitty
all
at
fucked
your
up in the
math.
head. Is what they call
What is that?
It means that I arbitrarily assign personalities to the numbers 1 through 10. So like when
This is crazy. This is great. This is a real thing. You can Google this. It's real.
It's
Tell
real.
it.
What do you mean? Like number one's real bitchy.
yes,
Number
that's
two,
Yes.
exactly it. Like
Always.
so
Number two's a
Run.
cunt.
Hey, run through 1 through 10.
Okay,
Yeah, when you're a
okay.
little
Number
kid.
1's just a regular guy. Number 2's a little girl. Number 3 is a dude who tries really hard to fit in. Number 4 is a girl with pigtails who fucking like tells on fucking everybody. 5 is a schlubby dude who's really funny, and his best friend is 7. And 6 is a bitch, like with roller skates on.
Let's try to keep 5 and 7 apart.
Is 6 hot?
No, 6 is not hot.
But she's just
and,
bitchy.
and here's the thing: is boys were odds and evens were girls, except for 9 and 10, because 10 was an old man and 9 was a sexy older lady. And I used to actually get turned on when I would do 7 plus 9 because I imagined 7 and 9 fucking each other.
When you were a little kid?
What? This is the weirdest. I mean, no offense.
So
That's-
anyway,
Wait, what was 8? I don't think you did 8. That's
8 was a
freaking
big fat bitch. And here's the thing
But
about
that 6, 7 was a bitch. Oh, 8 because
So
Six-
7
six was
was
a bitch.
5's best friend.
You
dude.
hated women. A
you hated
lot.
women except for older women you wanted to fuck, apparently.
I guess so, man. But here's the thing: is like I would be doing timed math. That was a big thing in 2nd grade. was
Timetable.
timed math.
I got caught cheating.
and
Pen down, and I didn't put it down.
I would look at the page, and it was just a cacophony of bullshit, like just all these fucking personalities all over this page, and like I'd be like 7 plus 8, fuck that. 7 never hangs out with 8. I'm not doing this one, and like I wouldn't do it. But then I would get to my favorite equation when I was a kid was 7 and 5, because 7 was a cool dude with a fucking
They were both-
jeans
they were
jacket,
buddies.
Yeah, they're buddies.
and they were best
With a
friends.
jean jacket.
And
So they were happy
and
to
he-
be together.
Yeah, and like 7 was like wore sunglasses. And he was like kind of a bad boy. His best friend was 5. His best friend was 5, and so when I do 5 plus 7 equals 12, I would laugh. I'd be like, "Oh,
Having a good time again.
you guys, 5
Boys are back in town.
I can't believe you two fucking knuckleheads pulled it off and made 12. You know, like
Thelma and
what-
Louise.
With the other kids in the class when you were laughing,
Beating
they'd be
the
like, he
shit
must
out
be
of you."
working with 5 and
they
7.
would be like, they would be doing the teacher would read our scores afterwards, and they'd be like, Rachel, 98, good job.
Ooh, that's-
Steven, 86, pretty good job. Andrew, 13. And
You
everyone
were like, 13's a cunt. Just like you, teacher. Wait, so how were you diagnosed? I've never
Yeah,
even heard of
did you
this.
tell anyone, or did you keep it secret like a molestation?
I went
'Cause
to
that's like,
I went to a psychiatrist, and that's where we found the
He
first
held
day,
up a picture of the number one.
No, the first day I
You got
went,
a hard on?
I went to a child psychiatrist, and he was like, I want you to draw a picture of how you feel. So,
you drew a 7 in sunglasses and a denim jacket.
no. So I drew a Vietnamese rice paddy farmer
What, did you just watch
and
the Killing Fields or something?
and
What the fuck?
a giant anaconda.
Platoon just came out.
A giant anaconda was like lurching towards him with its fangs open and like about to eat his face off.
Wait,
you
Ryan
the
O'Neill,
snake?
animal expert for the show. Are anacondas, do they exist in Vietnam?
don't
They're
think
not
so.
indigenous to Vietnam.
Were you probably a python, maybe?
Maybe
Maybe it was brought there by an American soldier. Were you the snake or were you the farmer?
And the psychiatrist asked me what this meant, and I was like, well, it's like I'm the snake because I get so mad at people when they make fun of me. I wish I could just jump at them and just
I
bite
thought you
it
were going
in.
to say I'm the snake because that's my big old long dick.
And
Well, that's what it was.
Was the
Like,
next question, Andrew, do you hate Asian
Yeah,
people?
why do you hate
Well,
Asians?
that's the thing that was so crazy about it because it was like
Were you obsessed with like Vietnam being
it was like a rice paddy
lost
farmer
war?
with one of those fucking square hats on, like
Like
he had
the
the
lamp-
square
the
hat.
lampshade?
Yeah, the lampshade hat. And then he's like, "What's on the back?" And it was on the back. I had plans for a gun I had invented.
Jesus.
Oh, I used to do that. And not only that, yeah. And I used
How are you guys the same person, but so fucking
I used
different?
to design military vehicles and planes with all sorts of crazy weapons that didn't fucking exist.
God, like the last episode, your apocalypse plan. You've been planning this out forever.
Oh, it's
The
unbelievable.
two of you guys should just go on
Wait,
vacation
how-
and just have
So
a
my
great time.
my gun, you put batteries in it instead of bullets, so it could fire electricity.
That's pretty clever. I had a machine gun similar like that. It was electric machine gun.
You guys should open a Willy Wonka for your shitty weapons. Funhouse.
We had our LD.
You still have the pictures? I still have mine.
Yeah, we've
I
got
should bring
some
them
of them,
in,
man.
and
We got
should
some of
compare
them.
guns.
Maybe we should get a shrink to look at the pictures and tell us what's wrong with both of you.
Well, my brother had to go see a shrink when he was in kindergarten because he did this story called Freddy Krueger on Mars.
Were your parents like, hey, maybe we should let them watch Married with Children already? It's not working.
Well, my brother had drawn. My brother, like, it's one of those stories in kindergarten where, like, you say the story to somebody and then draw it later. You remember how
Yeah.
they used to do that? So it was like, one day Billy went outside and got on a rocket ship and went all the way to Mars, and Freddy Krueger was there.
and that
then-
got him to go to the
No,
psychiatrist.
no, because when he illustrated
He
it,
was masturbating while he told the story.
even worse.
with the fucking knife glove.
Worse than masturbating.
So when he got to Mars, you see Freddy Krueger, right? And Freddy Krueger says, "Come here, I want to show you something."
Oh, boner?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
The next 5 pages are just Freddy Krueger hacking the heads and limbs off of hordes of naked women. There's blood.
But in his
everywhere.
defense, that's what Freddy Krueger does. The classic horror villains kill
was your
women
brother good at
for their
drawing?
transgressions.
Yeah, he was all
against-
right at drawing, even in kindergarten, so you could tell what it was. And so there's a picture of my brother.
How do you know who Freddy Krueger was? If you
he
guys
was
were
a huge fan of Freddy Krueger. When he
Wait,
was
you
a little
guys couldn't
kid.
watch Married with Children growing up, but you could watch fucking Freddy Krueger
I
when you were
guess
a
he's
fourth grader?
younger.
He's younger. I guess he had accidentally seen it or something.
Now I see why your parents didn't let you watch anything.
And
You would have been sitting around the house with your hand like Al Bundy, sticking it in there and yelling at your mom like she's Peggy.
The DeWitt household really sounds
So, it's just
entertaining.
every picture is naked women screaming and being hacked up by Freddy Krueger, who's smiling. And then in the corner, my brother's drawing himself just watching it all. And then the end of the book
What?
is like,
that makes sense because it's like him watching
A
TV.
movie. He's like in the eye.
and then at the end of the book, he's like, well, thanks for showing me Mars, Freddy Krueger, gotta go. That's the end of
What's your
fucking
brother
thing.
do now?
He's an architect.
He's made it.
But
In every house, every drawing has a little Freddy Krueger in the basement.
he had a child
He puts
psychiatrist talk to him
a rape
about it.
dungeon in every house he designs.
And they were like, well, what are these pages right here? Let's talk about these pages right here. And he knew he was in trouble, so he said, "Oh, those are just statues." Like, that's how he laughed.
I have some more questions about the numbers. Like, if you still see, how did you get over that? Or if you still see numbers now, are you like, oh, there's 7 in his denim jacket?
Well, the main thing was to do memorization. So I had to memorize how to do all the equations. Like, I couldn't just sit there and do them. Because if I was doing them, I was watching a bullshit conversation between two fucking people happen. You know, it was too much.
So you just can't cut it out.
So I had to memorize.
So you just have to memorize this equals this without actually doing it.
Exactly. And learning disability classes for our school were during recess.
Dude,
the fuck?
Here's my thing.
Shit, O'Neill's gonna jump
we
in
had
on
the
this.
world's worst LD program, special ed. So the teachers, when I wouldn't get my work done, I had to stay in every recess until I was done, but I couldn't do it
special ed,
because
you
I
couldn't
wasn't
finish it.
because I wasn't fucking mentally capable. So I never went out on recess either. But because they were dumb cunts and they wouldn't let me go because I didn't get my fucking work done, and so that only added to my anxiety, and I couldn't think.
Were you?
So we
but
didn't do recess.
I think Danish brought this up earlier. I would see Andrew as the like special ed kid getting picked on, even though it wasn't special ed really. And were you a bully?
I didn't bully them, but also wasn't ready to take shit from them.
I had rage.
That's what a
issues
bully
when
says,
I
by
was
the
a
way.
kid.
Here's the thing: is
What you
that
you had rage issues?
Yeah, like I would be accused of going. I would ask to go to the school store to buy robot erasers, and then some ladies
Say no, and then you burn the school down.
Some girl said I'd already been to the school store, and that wasn't true. If anyone said something that was about me that wasn't true, I flipped out, and I remember
we had guys like
turning
that
my
in my fucking class.
And you definitely
I was
you
like,
fucked with-
and I
you
used to be
definitely
like,
fucked
I
with
would be
him.
that guy that'd be like, hey, no, he already went. And then I'd like to see you get all fucking
But I got so angry. I got so angry in second grade. I remember I picked up my desk and fucking threw it against the wall.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Despite
I
my
was-
rage, I am still just a rat in
It was
special
a
ed
real
class.
problem, man. It was a real
it
problem.
fucks with you when you have to go into the special ed.
Well, 'cause-
and then they wanted to keep me in special ed through middle school. My mom's like, he'll just get bad grades. He's gonna walk amongst the normals.
Well, that's what they fucked it up. The teachers too, like, weren't paying attention to what my disability was.
me neither.
Which was
It
math.
sounds though like you had something very rare though.
Well, dyslexia isn't that rare.
No, but I'm saying the number thing.
The number
I've
thing
never
was
even
pretty-
heard
like
of
a
it.
huge
To this-
pain in the ass. But I could read
real, dude.
really well, and I remember.
Is it rare? How
you can
rare
read
is it?
well?
Yeah, I could, and I was
Well, I
reading
couldn't
my
read at
dad's
all.
pulp fantasy novels, like at an
Jesus.
early age, like reading 300-page like adult fantasy novels and
Like,
stuff.
wait, like fiction, like nerd shit, not
Yeah,
not,
like-
not porno, like letters
No,
to pen house
like,
or some
That's what I
shit.
pictured.
Adult
I remember
fantasy.
in second grade I read that Edgar Rice Burroughs novel, Princess of Mars.
The John Carter
Yeah,
book
the
or
John
whatever.
Carter thing,
Okay.
and I was like, this is awesome, you know, like,
So, do you read novels now?
Yeah, I
Because
do.
I can't read shit
Still?
to this day.
I do, I
fuck
love
up,
it.
I fuck up letters all the time, and I can't retain anything.
I
have
has
to read
But you-
everything
but you
over
can-
and over
You can
and over
read
again.
English. I mean, we got a menu. You
Yeah,
can
no,
look
I
at it.
can
You're not
fucking.
like,
I mean, I read books, but ask him. It'll take me like 6 months to like get through. Unless it's extremely engaging, then
Like porn.
I can hopefully. But I have ADD and dyslexia, which is never. I couldn't read really until like around 5th grade. I could start to like. I was becoming a better reader.
They put me in learning disability reading classes, even though my vocabulary was amazing, and like I had like all these books that I could read and stuff. Dude, it was extremely frustrating. But here's something funny that we can talk about instead of something sad.
That's something sad. Next 40 minutes.
I find it all hilarious.
So
I was
what?
just about to
so,
start weeping.
So okay, so let's go to
Well,
middle school now.
No, wait. This. Oh, fuck! I know what he's gonna do. This is
All right, so
awful.
in middle school, I had a bunch of notebooks. One notebook was filled with lesbian X-Men pornography that I'd drawn. And I accidentally... It looked just like my science notebook, and I accidentally took it
And
with
teacher.
me to school, right? Well, we had a substitute teacher that day, and the class was like going wild, just like talking to each other and stuff. My buddy Ben is like, hey, can I borrow a piece of notebook paper? I was like, yeah, my notebook's right there. He opens it up, and it's like, holy shit. He sees just like all these girls looking at each other's assholes, looking at each other's pussies.
Wait, how did you know about licking assholes and like?
I found a Penthouse Digest in the woods one time with all these stories.
I
like
really
letters
see
to
if this
Penthouse
guy had been
Digest.
exposed to copious amounts of pornography or anything
like you
bad,
had, he'd be a serial killer.
yeah, then I see why his parents
I
kept
think he wouldn't have. I think
No.
because he was kept away from it, he had a thirst.
I think you would have fed the beast.
So anyway, he sees it, and before I can stop it, before I know what's going on, he's been showing it to everyone in the class, and everyone's like laughing at me and stuff. And then finally, this girl named
Good buddy of yours, huh?
this girl named Rebecca like sees it, and she goes, "You're fucking disgusting." I had a huge crush on her.
Was
She's
she
like,
hot?
Yeah, she was, and she's
Big
like,
tits?
I guess so. I guess middle school. It's
But
middle school.
those middle school girls who got the tits were always like
They ended
hot
up-
to trot.
the
Then,
tall
like,
ones would get
Then a year
tits.
later, they
Yeah.
were like, "Bud, like, yeah, you know,
She man out.
everyone else got tits."
But she's like,
Everyone's got tits, pig.
You're a pervert. You're disgusting. And then my buddy Ben goes, "Dude, you're fucking gay." Like, but it's all
So
women.
nobody
rubbing
wants to-
pussies
no one
together.
likes you.
Like, it's the least gay thing that you can ever.
Well, technically, got it.
He
And
meant
then-
though the class, like the
And
loser.
then Ben was a huge asshole to me until high school, and then he got caught sucking a dude's dick in the woods. So fuck you, Ben.
Yeah, take that, you dick
That's-
sucking.
he was fighting against
You
himself.
dick sucking
You
Judas, you.
fucking redneck piece of shit. He was in. He
Yeah, a little bit of that nerve rage.
Rage.
Don't throw the desk,
They
dude.
were all
Don't
on
throw the
this thing.
desk.
They were all on this thing, a junior KKK called the fucking White Knights, and
Yeah.
it was fucking.
That's a decent group.
Wait, did Tony's dad train him? Just
No,
a callback to last
Hey,
episode?
wait. Have you ever?
Wait, you had junior KKK where you lived too?
Dude,
Dude,
have you ever
they
been?
invented the KKK?
Hold on.
What the fuck?
Everybody, let me
Well,
just.
well,
I'm going to
Danish and
tell
I
you.
didn't have that. I grew up
I'm
in
gonna-
California, and Danish is from the East Coast. In the middle part, you had
I'm
like
going to tell you
junior
something,
KKK.
but you have to let me finish.
Okay.
It's like being a counselor
I-
in
Oh,
training.
it's going to sound
Listen,
awful, and then
yeah,
you're
and
gonna
let me explain.
Oh, no.
I went to a Klan rally, not as
for the funnel cake.
just to meet women.
I said, let me finish. There was a Klan
How old were
rally
you?
in the town next to me. I was 16. Me and my brother went because we wanted to see, like, what the fuck is this? We were there. We were with a black guy, too, so it wasn't like we just.
Why would you bring
Why
that
would
guy?
you? Hey, we brought an offering, guys.
No, it was like a
You
parade.
put him in whiteface?
It was a parade
Did you
down.
bring a rope?
It was a parade down the street in the town.
Okay.
And we went to be like, what the fuck?
Oh, be bystanders. You weren't in the parade though.
But it was a fucked up thing to watch guys parading down the middle of a town
With, like swastikas and all that
with the
shit.
hoods
like,
on.
That
and
happened in the
fucking-
South. I remember my mom had
It's
stories
fucked
of having
up, and you're like, it gives
brother
you a whole
cover her eyes
different
staring
fucking
at it.
thing. You know what I mean? We didn't go there to participate. We went there to be like, this is fucking
They
crazy.
actually have the Klan in New Hampshire.
What the fuck are they clanning against in New Hampshire?
Stick part. I don't know.
Klan started in
Indiana's
Indiana.
a big, Indiana's the
No,
big.
dude. Here's
Dude,
the
there
problem.
are towns-
I've been to fucking 10 different states and 10 different towns and where every place claims that's where the Klan started.
Look it up on
the Klan
Wikipedia.
started in like a fucking 100
claim,
different. Everybody claims it started in like from Florida to fucking
Dude,
Oregon.
any area that has like real shitty small towns. I've been run out of small Indiana towns. Me and my brother.
Well, for
and our
blowing
buddy.
shit up, probably.
No. One time we just went to stop and eat at this place. It was like one of those little Dairy Queen type where you pull up,
Yeah.
you eat outside.
And you're like, I
And-
like that black people can vote. And they're like, get the fuck out of here.
we didn't even have that.
Did you have a Joy Division sticker on your car like "Beat it, homo"?
2 truckloads of guys pull up and they come up to us and they go, "You're not from around here." And we're like, "No." And they're like, "We suggest you leave town as soon as you're done
You're like, but
eating."
we're white.
And
was
we're
a-
like, and they literally sat across the street, and when we got in our cars, followed us to the outskirts of town.
But why?
You know you're
because they
from
don't want fucking.
You know
You're
outsiders.
fucking white.
You know
I
you're
know.
from a shitty
Could they
town
tell-
when you
Dude,
can just
my-
look at somebody and be like, "You're not from around."
There's
here."
areas in Indiana because my brother's wife's Indian, and they went to a gas station once, and so
you mean
Podunk
like
town,
Southeast Asian Indian?
Yeah,
no,
not
okay.
Native American.
Okay.
And he's like, all these people were staring at her, and I mean, she's a fucking American.
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, just wait in the car while I pump the
'Cause it's
gas,
gonna be-
and everybody.
Holy
What do you own a
shit.
7-Eleven, bitch?
Dude, my friend Katie went to Kentucky for her work for like some distribution center for this big company in Kentucky like 3 or 4 months ago, and there was no other Asian person in the small town. She was actually kind of on the outskirts, like a warehouse
Did they
district.
touch her face?
People were like fucking weird to her. And she's like, you guys have TV, right? It's just like, but I'm not saying it's just Kentucky, but there's anywhere in the
everywhere.
country.
Yeah.
If it's a small town, and you're different.
Dude.
They just fucking, they're not into it.
Where I grew up, Gary, Indiana's next to me, which is all black.
But Gary's
and it's
big, and it's right by Chicago.
And it's all
Gary
fucked
is
up.
big.
And then everything around it is pure racism.
Boy,
Point. Wait, what? So, wait. So,
Every town around
but
Gary is
every
fucking
town around
completely
Gary
racist.
probably isn't black, so they won. So what are they pissed about?
they are just fucking redneck. I told you when I went to Walmart last time I was home, I was pulling out, and this guy had this monster truck, and on the back it said "Coon Catcher."
Holy shit.
Why?
Dude, that's just fucking. That's the
But you love
mentality
everything
there.
redneck except the racism. That's the weird part about you.
Because
You like cars, you like guns, you like
dude,
fighting.
I grew up in a motel. I worked on a farm, but I vacationed every summer in Europe.
This guy loves to.
My
Why were you in Europe?
Ask him.
I
This guy.
spent-
Oh, your mom's German, so
Yeah,
you're
so
learning,
we-
so you're learning Nazi shit in the summers. Come back and bring it to your brothers.
We didn't just go to Germany. Sometimes we tour around Italy, France. I was in
Wherever there were death
Yugoslavia
camps.
that doesn't even exist
Ask him.
anymore.
Ask him what this guy used to eat. This guy's like 5-star emerald over
What do you
here.
mean?
He eat
What?
German butts?
No, he would eat like you like.
Oh, well,
this guy's- he'll talk to you with the delicacy of like sucking bone marrow.
Oh, we
and-
used to eat bone marrow. Is great. I love bone marrow. But we used to slaughter our own cows, so we'd always have steak and beef tenderloin.
No, but on
and
your
everything.
vacation, then
Oh,
you had, like real hot,
Like truffle sauce and stuff?
oh, dude. And one year,
Oh,
beef
Jesus.
tartare. Like,
we have one.
Oh, that's the default?
as
Oh,
a
yeah.
kid.
One summer.
But this is the guy who fingers the cow.
This is in the
You
80s.
fisted a pig before at your dad's command or
we
behest.
one year we took a crazy vacation.
1 year.
No,
you
no.
took a crazy
Every
vacation.
summer we would go to Germany with my mom, and we'd visit the
get
family.
Nazi
We'd tour
plates to
around.
sell on
But one year my dad came over, and we toured around Europe for a couple months, and we spent like $25,000, which is like $50,000 now. We would eat the finest shit. We'd stay at the best resorts. We had a 5 Series BMW.
What the fuck are you
fucking
doing?
whole
Did your
time.
parents think they were dying? Like, what
Yeah,
was the reason
your
for
dad
that?
think you had
My
cancer
mom
or something?
always believed like you have to do shit while you're young.
That's an apocalypse family.
Hey, once
That's because my mom's mom was like a wealthy person. Her husband was a doctor. They owned a hospital, and then World War II came. Everything was
The
level.
Nazis took it away.
My uncle or my grandfather died. She had nothing except 5 kids, and she was living in a barn on the top of a fucking barn that someone let them stay there after the war. And she had everything she had was completely gone, and she
The
had
hospital?
5 kids to support.
This is
no
what
money.
This is what they tell you to make. They're like, oh, we had it.
Hey, that dude's
Oh, you're not believing it? Like Holocaust survivor Jeff Danis
That's
is not believing
funny.
it.
That's not
That is the Holocaust is funnier than your grandma living in a barn. What the fuck?
But no, it's it's all it was all fucked up. So she grew up in the mentality like, look,
She had all these.
She was
better
making it
enjoy it.
rain before people were making
you better
it rain.
enjoy shit while you can.
Oh, that's a good idea. That dude's name was Bill, not Ben. I just remembered that.
So you wanted to make sure that
Did you look him up on Facebook? And here's his
No,
address.
we are not friends on Facebook.
But
What
yeah,
do you
that's
think he-
why I don't do racism, because I have some,
That's why.
some
Wait,
culture.
you don't
to me.
do racism. You don't believe.
I'm not
you don't
into
support.
racism.
Oh,
You had a
okay.
black friend growing up, didn't you? Some guy with a
Yeah,
big
he took
dick?
him to a Klan rally. Hey,
Well, that
Hey,
guy
Steven,
turned
get in the
out
car.
to be probably a racist.
Now, not everybody in the South is racist.
That guy was a
It's
complete
very-
fucking
no,
scumbag.
there's. I mean,
That black guy that
we're
we
in
hung out with.
California. If you go 30 minutes inland
Ventura.
in California,
This is the Klan.
Ventura, Oxnard has shit like that. The Inland Empire
I
has
think
that
everywhere
shit.
that's not a big city. Is
Everywhere
pretty
that's
fucking
spread out, it's
racist.
weird that everywhere it's spread out, people kind of go, well, fuck. And there's usually no one there that the racist people hate. You're like, there's
Yeah,
not
so
that many
they've
blacks
won.
here.
They've won
It's
anyway.
like you won,
It's an
you won
all-white
Lancaster,
town.
fuckers. There's
They
no
pretty
black
much
people.
hate Jews more than anyone. I usually find.
Because you're a Jew, you
No,
fucking baby.
I mean,
They
in
do.
the Midwest,
No,
they
dude,
hate
because
blacks.
lot of
Jeff,
Jew
Jeff,
hating.
you don't look Jewish. Really.
No, you look a
don't
little
have
bit
like
Arab.
curls.
The
They
rest
might
of the
get mad at
world,
you.
the rest of the world
I mean,
hates Jews.
if you're
but
Asian or
America
black, it's
doesn't.
pretty easy to be prejudiced. Have somebody be
Yeah.
prejudiced against you because they can see you. Go, oh, black guy.
Dude.
You could say
Never
you're-
lived with this nose, dude.
Oh, gee. This
That's
guy's a
such
white
subtle
guy.
fucking. Yeah, you're like the white. Like yeah.
Fairly recently,
You're as Jewish looking as I am Mexican looking,
in the,
dude.
in
And
the
I'm half
not so
Mexican.
recent
You
past,
both make me sick.
I was making out with this girl, and I like started
Off
touching
of
her.
Plenty of Fish.
Started touching her face, like fucking around, and I had my eyes closed. Like, so weird the blind people do that. And then I was like, I can't really tell anything about your face by touching it like this. And she's like, so she started touching my face, and she's like, well, I can tell you have like a much bigger nose than I do just touching my face, dude.
Your nose isn't, dude. Your nose isn't that
It hurt.
big though.
It hurt.
Yeah.
I've seen regular white people
Pete
with bigger
Carbone's
nose.
nose is bigger than yours.
He's half a
Italian.
Jew.
Oh, geez.
I'll trade you your nose for my tits.
I'd like to see that swap. What are we playing? Go fish.
go.
Wait! Before you swap, let me pull my pants down.
If you want to talk
Wait,
about,
can you push them together first?
I mean, if you want to talk about childhood pain, I was not not without. I was a fat kid as
were you?
as a youngster.
Is that
So
why you're all slender now? Because you have like a
it's-
complex about it, or are you
It's
just
far,
like?
I mean, I keep in shape, definitely.
I
know
had
the
a
pain
complex
of it.
about it, and I never fucking could get it off, bro.
Well, you're looking at your future, dude. What did you do? Jeff, you swam and you
I was
ran?
always athletic. I was like an athletic fat
You're a
guy.
husky kid.
Like I had tits. I was definitely made fun of. And what sport did my parents get me into? Football? No.
I was playing
No.
football.
no,
dude.
because my Jewish
Swimming.
mom's like, you're gonna get hurt out there. You can't do it.
So
they get me into swimming.
So you're just a
sport-
fat kid in a Speedo.
Sport where you do a Speedo. I have a picture at home. And it's like every kid is like the tiny, like those kids who are like sticks. You can see all their fucking abs.
Swimmers' bodies.
And then you see me just with like tits, a gut. But the thing is I was good. So like I felt bad, probably worse for the kids I would beat because like
got beat by the fucking.
Well, I think
You're
their
like-
parents
you're
by
like
the
a,
walrus boy beat me up. Fuck that guy.
You were like a heavyweight MMA guy where you're
You're like
fat, but
Butterball.
you're like,
Butterball.
There's no,
No.
Butterbean. There's no
Butterbean.
heavyweight in swimming, asshole.
No,
There's
no, but I'm saying
Michael
you were built
Phelps
like
who's fat.
You're built like those fat guys, and you're like, oh wait, those guys have cardio.
I know. I
They can
remember like
fight.
the coaches and people would always be like, swimming is such a great exercise. I'd be like, no, it's not. I'm fat. Like I'm doing it all the time.
Oh,
That's because
shit, dude.
after every lap, you'd have like a Twinkie you shove down your
Twinkies
throat.
are gone, dude.
I used to love swimming, but then my tits got so big in like second and third grade.
You would go in the water, and then you turn upside down because they were so buoyant.
I remember my
You
best
could only
friend.
backstroke. What are you
My
talking about?
fucking best. I was waiting in line for the water slide at the fucking pool, and I couldn't wait to get on it. And my friend turns to me and goes, "Andrew, I haven't seen such tits in Playboy." And
And you thought it was a chicken line in front of you, but it was you.
everyone
like the
fucking
4-story
laughed.
No, I know-
line.
I know.
Everyone turns and looks.
Oh, the water
Everyone's
park.
like-
I know the
everyone's like,
pain,
"Oh."
dude.
And I went and I bought 2 frozen Three Musketeers and ate them by myself at the fucking picnic table.
I know your pain, dude. My old man, I guess. Well, he was.
Made fun of your tits.
No, he was
That's
kind of
shitty.
fat as a kid too, and he got made fun of for tits. So it was like a
The
genetic.
tits thing was the worst. There's a picture of me. We used to have International Day where we dress up like a different country.
You painted your tits up.
Dude, is this in special ed? Were you
No, this is
Dresses
regular.
on you, paint your tits, and
So everyone got something better than me.
were you
Like,
Swedish bikini team?
every grade got a different country, and my brother got Japan. He got to dress up like a
Were you like?
samurai.
Did you dress up as Jabba the Hutt?
Guess
from
what? Guess
whatever
what? Guess what
you
country?
was from?
What is
America,
no? Guess what's the least flattering country for a fat kid with tits to dress up?
Mississippi,
as?
Samoa.
No, Holland. So I was dressed as a little fat Dutch boy.
Oh, did you put your
so
tits
like
together?
country.
Like,
And
sweet-
so
like Willy Wonka.
Yeah, so I looked exactly like Augustus Blood or whatever with the fucking. I had like a sash on.
Did
like
you have chocolate on your lips?
How like
a little
you-
beret, a little.
I
Fucking,
mean, so you really had to get decked out for this international day.
And then there's a picture my mom took of all of us at the bus stop, and you can see I'm actively sucking in my gut. So I'm going like dressed up like this fat Dutch boy,
How
my
old were
fucking
you?
heaving breasts.
and you're
hanging down.
and you're picturing
That's third
number
grade.
1 and number 5.
even by third grade, you knew that it was like just it sucked.
It was terrible.
You
It
were
was
sucking in the gut. In
I had a
third
kid.
grade?
I had a kid
Yeah.
call me piglet tits in middle school, and I had to go.
That's kind of nice because piglets are small. They
Yeah,
are
it's
sex
not
organs.
good.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kid would have been me.
That kid
If I
was
were in
that
school.
good story about that kid is there was a lot of Dominican and Puerto Ricans where I was from.
Jesus.
And where I'm from is like a pretty much all white town, and so he went to my school, and like it was like him and he had like a lot of like cousins and family, and they all went to the school, and then it came out that they were like illegally coming from the city. And like claiming they lived at this address that they didn't
To go to
live.
the good-
So
good white person's
They all
school?
got booted.
Was it you? Anonymous phone
I
call.
was like, hey, you want to call me Piglet Tits one more time? Have
You
fun at your
Dominican
school,
fuck.
bitch.
Drop
You'll
a
never
dime
make it into Major League Baseball now.
In fourth grade, I started getting dandruff, and kids used to sing a song called "Andrew the Dandruff Man."
Wait, did you get dandruff on your tits or near your
No,
head?
it just all be all over my desk and
Who the
shit.
fuck? I never even noticed dandruff when I was a kid.
How do your kids even know what the fuck dandruff is?
I don't know because they had dandruff commercials. Anyway, like that's when they started doing titty twisters, and I remember this kid going, "Oh man, we should give Andrew titty twisters because he got the hugest tits ever."
Yeah, like two-handed
And they
ones,
just
dude.
fucking myrtleized my fucking titties. I remember going home with like bruises all fucking over my
God.
fucking titties, dude. It was the worst thing ever, man.
Did your mom Your mom didn't call them titties. What'd she call them?
Yeah, what'd your mom call your
She
titties?
said chest tissue.
No, she
They
didn't.
wrinkled your chest tissue.
Milk bags.
You said you and she's
Suck
not-
lumps.
My mom did not say it looks like they bruised your milk bags.
My
Awooga.
me and my brother had a fairly tumultuous relationship growing up, and he used to beat the fuck out of me. He's 3 years older. And so when I would go to swim practice, I was covered in fucking bruises, like all over my body.
Your parents.
And so this one day, this coach came up to me, and I was like, I wasn't that old. I was like 8 years old, and she's like, "Can I talk to you
They
for
call
a minute?"
CPS on your parents.
She goes, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like just thinking, she was asking me like, "How are you today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she's like, like, "Is everything all right at home?" And I was like, "Yeah, everything's fine at home." And she's like, I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, your body, you always have bruises on you." And I was like, "Oh, it's just for my brother." And she's like, "That's abuse too." We got real Then I told my parents, and they were pissed, but the beatings didn't stop.
The weird thing is that
I like that they knew, but it's like,
Yeah, we can't
these
stop it.
schools that you guys went to all seem very caring. Like nobody gave a fuck. Like where I went
Dude,
to
my school was so politically correct. My town in general is so politically correct. But in elementary school, they had this thing called Project Charlie.
Oh,
It
we
was-
had Project Charlie.
And it was this class. It must
yeah,
have
but
been a
yours is
national
probably something like way more.
It must,
than
it must have been a
sad.
national
Shit.
movement. It was just like, all right, I want you to tell Michael
Yeah.
what you like about him and give him 3 put-ups. And it was like this
What?
real.
Yeah.
Even
Oh, like
then-
Project
we had
Compliment? Fuck that.
Even then, I was like, this is lame, dude. What are we doing this for? And it was just,
I would die laughing.
DeWitt asked me to do that every day in the office. Tell me something good I did today.
That's not true.
He does that every day.
Why would I do
Isn't
that?
that good?
That's not
every
true.
day.
Project
I
Charlie,
live
dude.
Project Charlie now as a
what?
grown man.
You know what, dude? Why don't you go knock your wife up, bro?
Okay, that's not even.
Why don't you see if you can fucking seal the deal on that, man?
Wow. It's getting,
Low blow.
It's getting dangerous.
That ice cream call like 2 podcasts ago really rung your bell, Andrew.
Okay. I'm just saying,
in
you've been
my-
coming in your wife's pussy for 8 months now.
He just pulled it. Hey, watch out! He's a fighter. He's a fighter, Dad. Watch out!
That rage.
Gonna get that fucking sword.
Is that a wooden sword?
He's gonna get a sword to desk and come at me.
Is that a wooden sword in your pocket, to it? Or are you just happy to see it? Hi-oh!
Dude, I don't.
Boy, yo, yo,
you
yo,
guys
yo,
went to
yo.
the same school though, right? Would you go to public school or Jewish school?
I was public.
Public.
My
You guys went-
town's 2% Jewish. So I grew up probably like you grew
it's
up.
your family.
Dude,
So
in middle school, if you got in trouble, they would. If you got fucked up or did something bad at lunch, your punishment, you'd have to sit at the retard table. That's like
you were already there.
I used to have to sit there, and I
You're
knew
like,
a lot
"Oh,
of these kids from elementary school.
Did you kind of groom them and like
But
know
I
their
used
strengths
that-
and stuff, and
'cause
get
we had-
build an army of retards?
We had television, and I made this giant ball of mashed potatoes, and I threw it at the television. It splattered, and so for the rest of the year, I had to sit with these retards. But how bad is that? They're like, "Oh, you've been
Your
bad.
punishment
Here's
is
your
to sit
punishment."
with- sit with the kids who aren't good at learning.
Yeah, instead of saying like these kids are equal to you, they're like, "No, they're so bad that we're going to punish you by having to sit through them eating."
That is a terrible punishment. I used to get fucking sick. My mom used to. My mom used to volunteer with these adult special. This is the worst thing I'm ever gonna say.
Okay, let it come.
There used to be this live Santa show that was amazing in Virginia when we lived in Virginia for a while. Miller and Rhodes. It was the real Santa Claus, right? He would come.
Andrew believed in Santa Claus till 23 years old.
I
by the
believed
way.
in Santa Claus until I was in 6th grade.
2 years out of college.
Until I was in fucking 6th grade.
Can I just quick side note as like a Jew? That's like what we have over everyone in the world. Is like I remember I would look at kids like you and think, what a fucking idiot.
You
And I wouldn't tell you, but I would just
Jews
keep
don't
it-
believe in Jesus or Santa Claus. They're so smart.
No, but I would just like 'cause all these kids, and I'd be like, God, I have something on you, but I'm not going to give it up.
Yeah, but you got socks for fucking 8 nights. You
No,
loser.
I
All
didn't
those
get-
kids
I
have
didn't
bikes
get-
and shit.
Yeah, all these kids got gray presents.
Yeah,
that
you
blew
get-
me out of the water.
From your fucking
So-
wooden dreidel.
So my mom volunteered with adult people with special needs, and so we could get in free to see the Miller and Rhodes Santa Claus.
Was that the whole purpose of the volunteering?
No,
Because your mom didn't want to fork over the $8 to go see it. She's like, "I'll work with these retards for a year,
It
so
was
the whole family can go for
It was
free."
at the hospital though, right? And so we went in, and it's not just mentally disabled. It's also like we went in and people were painting with their feet because their arms
like
were
my
gone
left
and
foot?
stuff, you know.
Wow.
And we were like, "Wow, this is
Was
crazy."
all like cancer kids, like balloons and no hair and
But
shit. You're like, oh,
yeah, a little bit. But then we
Jesus, pay for the tickets, dude.
But when we went into the Santa room.
The show sounds very depressing.
It was all mentally handicapped people, right?
It's like Yellow Brick Road.
And it was like a thing where they feed you like a lasagna, and then you get like all this other stuff. Well,
This isn't gonna end well.
This is gonna go horrible.
I was getting sick. I was just getting so sick.
Like sick of retards? What do you mean you're getting
What
sick?
the fuck is wrong with you?
Because all these people were eating. I remember as a kid, we were sitting right next to them, and they've got food, like the food's falling out.
Oh,
of the
they're not eating properly.
No, I can relate to that. I remember in middle, like when you're younger, you don't know how to deal with stuff
And
like that.
people have diapers on. It smells like shit and piss. And then,
Jesus.
Well, it smells like TT at number 2.
yeah,
Bottom leaving.
and then Santa Claus came out, and they just went ape shit. Just fucking.
Like they started fucking in the
Hey,
aisles.
shit.
Did he have like bodyguards to
Just-
keep them down, like with
Oh,
shields?
no, with cattle prods.
If they bull charged, they would knock them down with shields.
They went crazy, and they were chanting and screaming, and food was flying all out of their mouths
Oh,
and
God.
shit. And I remember just like covering my head, like, and I was like,
You couldn't enjoy Santa?
and I loved Santa.
What were
Like,
they
it was
chanting?
fucking-
Atticus.
And then and that was like a common theme because there's this children's play theater, and like the first preview they would do for mentally disabled adults, and they did. My buddy Hunter was in it, and
Fucking
they did
cheapskates.
They did Charlotte's Web, right? And in the middle of the play, this guy stands up and he goes, "That pig is gonna fuck that spider." And they all start going, "Pig will fuck the spider. Pig will fuck the spider."
They're chanting like a Todd Browning's freak thing, like
then they're
Google
like,
Gobble.
It sounds like a poetry.
Is this like
Beatnik poetry for retards.
it sounds like a Larry Clark movie.
Yeah, I mean,
like
wait-
Kids or Gummo or one of those.
Like, and he tells everybody the story because like then at intermission they were all gone. Like they had just put him back in the bus.
Oh, I thought they left. I thought they left because there was no
Fucking-
spider fucking. They're
fucking
like,
sent him
oh.
home.
They killed them all.
Oh.
It was just like it was disturbing to me at the time. I feel real bad about being disturbed by it. Like my siblings weren't disturbed by it at all. I was like, this is gross and nasty.
There was in high school. I went to a talent show. It was like for some reason it was like a nighttime like. Sometimes they did them like outside of school. It was a nighttime talent show.
Yeah.
So me and a buddy.
you went to shit outside of school?
Yeah, if it's not in the auditorium, you don't got to go to it, dude.
I
What the
would
fuck you-
never go.
I don't
to
know. It's
anything.
probably like
Well, you can't.
I
you
did
can't
that,
travel
dude.
around in Valpo because you go one town over. They chase you with pitchforks.
I don't
and
know.
torches.
There were chicks. They were just like a social thing to do. Like people we knew were going. We smoked weed and we went. We got high, and so we went. And then
with your parents.
No, it was like me and my buddy.
His mom dropped him off. He was 18.
They hotboxed the purple minivan.
We drove at that time. I forget who drove, but we drove. And we went, and this kid who was in the special needs class and didn't speak so well
Oh no.
gets up and sings Rubber Ducky, and he was just really butchering it. And me and my buddy, we were high in our defense and just started laughing.
No, that is not a defense.
That's not a defense.
We started-
That
don't
makes
use
you a
that.
worse person.
Don't
Use
hide
illegal
behind
drugs.
We
the
started
weed.
laughing for 10 minutes, and this lady just turned around and gave us this look like, I hope you both die. And we just got up and walked out. We're like,
I think we all know why we're not successful.
At least you didn't dress up like a mentally retarded person. And then
That was the highest.
and
I
then-
like how he's giving me
And, you're
shit.
and he was like 16. You were 21,
That's a
dude.
good point.
You
Good
dressed up like a
point.
retard. You impersonated a retard at 21 sober.
It was
At
it was
a high
nothing.
school.
It was nothing against retards. It was a disguise.
If you go back,
Whatever-
if you go
Why
back,
not a cowboy?
I spent a lot of time in that special ed, and I have a deep affection.
what the
for
fuck?
mentally
Holy shit,
handicapped
dude!
people.
So that was like on the first
Oh,
or
it
second
was an
episode
homage.
of this podcast.
You were doing an
went-
homage to
No,
the
at
mentally
21,
disabled.
you went dressed up as a retard to go like punish them for thinking you were a retard when you weren't.
I think it was.
because they
Subversive.
overlook retards.
You were like, "Hey,
They
look at
say-
me! I'm still
So
here."
he's showing you, this isn't a disguise. It's who I was.
Yeah. Or it's like, hey, you
Or
you
you're making-
won't
or
look-
you're making fun of
You
retards.
won't take a good long look at a retarded person. If you had, you would
So
know that.
that's why
it
you tried to
was
pull the
me.
microphone out of the principal's hand
now
and
he's
yell
trying
into
to,
it.
now he's trying to claim he's a performance artist.
I am a performance artist.
You don't understand.
Oh, this is it. You laughed for 10 fucking minutes. You were throwing up watching them eat.
You spent all day with fake teeth in your mouth pretending to be a
I earned
retard.
it. I spent 5 fucking years dealing with them in special ed when I wasn't retarded. I had a high IQ.
But why did you just pretend to be so disgusted at me for laughing?
Because I've never laughed at. Well, okay,
Come on, dude. Your buddies were there
I've
laughing.
seen you laugh at retarded people.
they were laughing.
His buddies were there filming.
I was fucking with the man.
Oh my god!
So it had nothing to do with retards.
So when they busted you, you're like me going duh and having fake teeth in. It was I was just I was in honor. I was honoring them. I was paying.
Nothing was brought up. I just had big buck teeth and I looked retarded.
And
so
you
no
wanted to
one
say you
fucked
love
with
the
me.
lunch lady
So
too.
no
Is what
one
you tried to
fucked
yell
with
in the
me.
microphone.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything about.
Didn't you have
retards.
like big, like weirdo, like DMC glasses?
Well, I had my old retard glasses when I was retarded.
Why didn't you just wear like those glasses that make you look like you have Asian eyes?
Or the novelty store X-ray vision.
What about the Groucho Marx nose and mustache?
or would that be honoring people too much? Or would that be too much of an homage?
Too much of an honor.
If I were trying to bring to light the U.S. internment camps that Asians were locked in, then maybe I would have done it.
In elementary school, my brother and I both got lice and were sent home. For some reason, I was
That's filth.
never made fun of it for it.
Well, I think a lot of kids get it though because they check like
we
third,
got
fourth
sent
grade.
home. No, but it wasn't like from uncleanliness. It was just other kids.
Other kids get it. You
Yeah.
get it.
There's bigger fish to fry than the kid with lice.
So we went home, and
In
I
school.
remember we were pumped about it because it was Halloween and we had tons of candy. We were like, "You're sending us home? Fuck yeah!" So we went home. My dad had to leave work to be like, "Oh God," and like
to guard the fucking candy they're going to hand out that night.
Well, to watch us. And then my parents got lice, and they were beyond pissed.
I wouldn't let you back. If my kid had lice, I wouldn't let him back in the house until he
I'd
would.
shave his fucking head.
I would put a tent out there, and then I would wash with a hose. I would wash it with the lice shampoo.
Now I
until
feel
it
like
was
I have
gone.
lice in my hair right now. I feel like I have it.
It's from that court jester / yarmulke hat you wear.
It's a tribute to your medieval times past and Jeff's Jewish heritage. So.
At what temperature is that too hot to wear?
I think I've trained my mitochondria to cool
I like the new look out here in L.A. Black guys have been doing it for years, wearing the winter hat at all times of the year. But now the hipsters are doing it, where they wear it like
July,
barely on the head. But it's like you got to be hot in that thing.
You know what? I like it.
I mean, I'm not calling you out on it. It's a good
wear
look.
just called him
shorts.
out on it like 2 minutes ago.
I wish it was a bright orange hunting cap.
Yeah,
Holden
maybe.
Caulfield. See, I have a high IQ too.
Yeah, you know a book everybody reads in 9th grade. You're a fucking genius.
I do wish.
Read Charlotte's Web too, like the retarded kids.
I've never read that.
I have read it.
I wish I could put a fan under my breasts. They're getting a little sweaty.
I will say this: that not being able to read well and having learning disabilities turned me into a very good con man because I learned how to con my way through book reports and really butter up teachers to get good grades. No, like just really.
It made you a liar. Your life is a lie.
Well, con my way through trying to get good grades.
Give us examples.
Yeah. Would you say like, "Oh, your breasts look very nice"?
Well, no. Like if I didn't have shit, I would really be like make a joke that the teacher would laugh at, and like really diffuse a toxic situation.
So they're like, "Did you read Christmas
And say what?
Carol?"
It'd still get like an F though.
So you do like a book report, and you're like, "Hey, did you guys hear the one about the
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?"
Give Ryan an A. That was a hell of a joke.
So my assignment
No,
was
but then
to
I
read
would
Christmas
also
Carol,
I would
and had
ask
to
other
say-
people that read it, and then I would figure out what they were going to say, and hopefully I would raise my hand before them.
You were the Carlos
I was
Mencia of
You're
book
the
reports.
Carlos Mencia of book reports. You
But-
steal people's answers and take them as your own.
as a survival skill to get through school. Because if I got bad grades, which I did, I would get beaten at home, even though I had a learning disability.
You would get beaten.
I would get beaten.
Dude,
with
his whole
anger.
family they're all lawyers.
We did not get beaten.
Dude,
We did get the belt if we were really bad.
The Bible belt?
Well, regular belt.
No Bible.
And my mom would use a wooden spoon on us.
Yeah, the wooden spoon. Yeah, or the belt, wooden spoon, and a hanger. Those were the devices of
Was it
choice.
like Goodwill Hunting? Did you have to go to the table and pick one?
Were you beaten?
I got spanked like twice, and it was like terrifying because my dad was such a silent, angry, like drunk man.
Did you
that I
ever
just
get in a
never wanted
fist
to
fight with your old man when you got older?
Yeah, it was weird when I was in college. He kind of got my face, and it was kind of like a diffused. We didn't talk for a lot of years, and then as he got older, I just had an ass full of him and told him like, well, my dad drank a lot. Like, we saw Flight last weekend, and it was so funny because I was like, oh, my old man was like that, but he was in black. He couldn't fly a plane upside down successfully. But almost the same.
Just the drinking part?
The drinking and the recreational drug use and all the sluts. Yeah, he was just like that. No, I think like my old man, probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and he's still alive, and he's still healthy-ish. He was on his second or third wife after my mom. And he had got real drunk and was like calling me a fucking loser and stuff. And I told him, you fucking say that to me again, I'm gonna take you outside and kick the shit out of you, old man. And it was weird because he was old enough at that point where like he's a Vietnam veteran and completely insane. He had like that crazy Vietnam dad strength. It still would have been a good fight, but I would have like totally gone for the bad knee. I would have fucking, gouged. I would have.
I had a similar
not a fight to death, but a fight to
situation.
the fucking emergency room. We both would have been. And then, 2 years later, he got sick. And then
Both
he
of
was
your
like,
guys, his old man was.
I would not fight O'Neill's old man right now if he was in a fucking.
Well, I had a similar
in a
situation
sling.
where he was making fun of me for being retarded. And
Wait,
so,
when you were a little kid?
Yeah, but this is a few years ago.
Your dad was a bully at your school.
And then I figured I'd had enough. We'd had a couple of fistfights
And a couple beers probably
this
too.
was
That night, I'm imagining.
This was the end all decider. Like I whipped his ass good.
Wait, you fought him?
Yeah.
Where? In
took him
Indiana?
down.
This
Indiana or
was
here?
recent.
A few years back.
In Eagle Rock
Where
or-
I actually thought
Indiana.
for a moment.
Was it like Roadhouse? You're rolling across like a fucking parking lot? And, like,
No, well, he was
doors?
going for the phone to call the cops on me.
For beating
So
him
then-
up?
Yeah.
Oh, like
but listen,
seniors abuse.
but this had gotten to the point where I had actually thought he was knocked out cold, and I thought I had killed him. And I go, oh man, how am I going to get out of this? For like 2 seconds,
what-
I thought I had killed him because his body laid there lifeless, and I go, oh.
Dude, when has his hand over his face, horrified.
Why not tell-
He loves his parents so much.
Why
he
not
would never
tell the
fight
full
him.
story?
Yeah, why?
This
wait,
got
what
real dark.
Yeah,
This got
no,
fucking
this is great.
real
I want to know
dark.
because last episode Ryan was all bragging. What fighting style did you guys use? Muay Thai, Eskrima? What was going on?
I used childhood rage.
How did it start?
From
Who
DeWitt.
threw the first punch?
Look, I would say we had sold our family business, and I'd driven across the country with my brother-in-law to help clean up the place because it was being they wanted everything off the land, the people that bought it. So we had like a month. So we went out there the last
And
10 days.
his old man is kept like he probably had all the old beta porno tapes. Like
We had
sounded like everything was there that had ever been there.
we had multiple-
And he didn't want to get
He
rid
never
of it.
threw anything out. Okay.
He didn't want to get rid
We
of
had
it.
multiple buildings on the property. One was a huge pole barn, huge, completely filled. Because we've had a restaurant, we used to own a Holiday Inn, we had
So
a
picture-
theater.
Why didn't you guys just do an auction right there and just bring
Why
shit
not
out on the
invite
table?
Mike and Frank from American Pickers over?
American
We had guys like that come around. Here's the thing.
Why are you closing
They
your
took all
eyes?
the good porno tapes
It's
and left.
so sad, bro.
DeWitt's scared.
It's so sad. Like we were talking about throwing up, watching retarded people eat. And now we're talking about kicking our dad's ass. Like what kind of fucking people have we turned
I don't
into?
know.
Well, my dad died of cancer,
here's the thing.
Andrew, and he
Hold
hated
on a
me at the
second.
time,
Everything
so-
was fine when we were talking about eating ass and fucking fat girls. Like those were the good times, guys. What happened to all the good
Should I
times?
not should I not tell the story?
No, have you heard the stories of Ryan's
No, I
dad?
wanna-
Who's
I
like
wanna
a
hear
living
the
legend.
story.
You're
Ryan's
making-
dad's like the fucking
You're making me self-conscious.
Bigfoot of the
No, I want-
Midwest.
This is a darker episode.
I want to hear the. I want to hear this
Well, here's the
story,
thing.
but it's the
So you
Empire
and the
Strikes
brother-in-law,
Back.
you married your sister, who's a lawyer. Your sister,
Here's what you're.
I met your sister, nice lady. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Here's what you're missing out on. My dad and I never had a relationship, so it's not like when you guys talk about your dads. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like talking to him about stuff, I have no fucking concept. Even though my dad did save my life, I was stuck out in a blizzard as a child. And he had been drinking all night, so he was driving home. Drunk. And he was going, I think he was going to another bar, but he had seen me in the parking lot between two cars, so he pulled in, and I was close to death.
Were you jacking off, or what?
No, I was just a little kid wandering outside, sleepwalking.
What the
In
fuck?
the middle of the fucking winter.
I sleepwalk
What?
too, bro.
You guys should just marry each other,
and
dude.
do you sleep fuck? Like
I did! I've woken up fucking! I told the lady
Who
I'm
the
dating
fuck
now,
are you two?
it doesn't happen very often, but if you wake up and I'm fucking you, I'm probably
Wait,
asleep.
I just want to go over the list of things you
sleep
guys are
great.
having
Oh,
conversations.
I've sleep jerked off.
Here's the list of things you guys have in
share in
common.
common. And you look nothing alike. You're not from the same part of the country.
We should look at each other's dicks and see if they're similar.
You're both
I'm a
dyslexic.
big dickhead. So
Mine's thin, but it's long and thin and like a
mine's different. Mine's
torpedo
totally
shape.
different.
Welcome to Boner City Dick
Dude,
Time.
it's just, because it was called Boner City, because I thought we'd never talk about our boaters, dude.
Here's what you guys have in common.
Okay, over the last like 4 or 5 episodes.
Tail of the tape.
Yep.
You're both dyslexic.
Yes.
You both used to like drawing weapons as children.
Both
Absolutely.
wrongly accused of putting special ed when you shouldn't have been.
Special ed. You both claim that when you eat pizza, that the cheese absorbs into
We
your
get
upper
pizza lip.
and you can smell it.
You both like to eat ass or do things equally gross
We
to
both
women.
grew up in the sticks with racist fucks.
we both like
You both
peeing on us.
Yes, that's true.
You both sleepwalk.
You both welcome the
We
apocalypse
both
and think
sleep fuck. We both sleep fuck.
you both think your previous training has trained you for the apocalypse and you look forward to it.
We're both fighters, more
Wait,
or
so
less.
is sleep fucking like a known thing?
I don't
It
know.
happens.
Have you ever met another sleep fucker?
Every now and then I hear, like when I talk
It's
about
not
it
like
on
a
stage
regular
or
thing,
whatever.
but it's
Are there female sleep fuckers? Or that's who you
No,
should be married to?
Yeah, you should.
When my wife and I first started dating, we would both sleep fuck each other, and she wasn't on the pill. It was dangerous.
Did you have a sleep baby that you just gave away?
that doesn't count.
It doesn't
You can
count.
throw that in the
'Cause
dumpster.
It's
Illegally.
sleep sex
baby.
is aggressive. Like it's aggressive. Sex.
I always wake up and I'm like, oh,
Danish is just horrified at this
I'm just
conversation.
baffled.
We would wake up the next day and we would be like sore.
Why
like
is
our
my
genitals
asshole
would be
bleeding?
sore? You know, like
So you're not up at all.
you can vaguely remember
Yeah.
pieces of
But
it.
I mean, who doesn't do? I mean, I've done that, but it's like,
But, like,
I've been told that I was just vigorously jerking off in my sleep. And I have no recollection.
I think it's you trying to block it out, dude.
No, it wasn't me. That wasn't me at all.
I've woken up my wife where I've been ripping her pajama pants down to
Yeah,
just
fucking shred, like
Yeah, just
get
like-
in there.
Yeah, just like
One
an
time,
animal. Like
she's
an
like, it was
animal.
super hot, and I was like,
Yeah,
I have
that's why.
no
That's
fucking
why
clue.
my wife was like, I was really turned on, but like if I encounter something I can't figure out, like as a in a primate
That you'll
stage,
wake up?
yes, you'll wake up or go back to sleep. Like
Yeah.
so, like I was trying to get her fucking panties off at one point, and she was like totally into it because I was just like, you know,
You just wake up and it's a good fuck.
yeah.
If you wake up while you're doing it, you're like, holy shit. You're like, oh, I'm gonna blow my load.
And then like I just passed out face first in her pussy, went back to sleep, just like later. But
You're giving
she
oral.
was like,
Hey, if we ever,
Sleep oral, dude.
if we ever go on a Boner
Yeah.
City USA slumber party
Those
tour,
guys have
yeah,
their own
you guys
room.
are sharing your
You
bed.
guys get your own
We'll
room.
sleep the fuck the shit out of each other.
Hey, is your mouth and asshole real sore?
Oh, my
Man,
lips are all chapped.
I've got ass lip where my front lip smells like your asshole.
It's absorbed into my upper lip. I don't know why.
Hey, pee on me after we fuck.
I can
Cool
just,
me down.
I can just I'll vaguely remember things like, and you wake up like when you're sleep fucking, your brain is telling you there is a woman next to you. Why are you not tearing this apart?
aggressive.
You know
My
what I'm saying?
mind's telling me
Like,
no.
It's like werewolfism, like
It is like a
lycanthropy.
You
werewolf.
never get as
Like
turned
fuck
on
lycanthropy.
as that. It's true. It's like a caveman taking
When
his
I was
woman.
when I
But
was
you're talking about it like you know what's going on, but you're claiming that you're asleep.
you have recollections
Yes.
of it. You have recollections.
But if
of
you're
it.
turned on,
It's
then
almost like
in the
you're
moment.
half conscious, but you're just like out of nowhere. You have this burning desire to fuck right then and there, and you just rip the clothes off, and there's this vagina
what
ready
if-
to
what
go.
if you're-
Jeff,
like-
have you ever slept over at Ryan's house? Because I
No.
wouldn't recommend.
What if you're like what if it's like your sister? Like your mind knows that that's not
Oh,
good.
you got to be like with a lady that.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I'm not a sleep fucker. I don't know.
And I'm also not sleeping in a bed with my sister like you.
My sister.
So don't have
happens
to worry. Are you asking for yourself? Are you like planning a family trip where you're like, I got to share a bed with my sister? and I
I'm just
hope
trying to get.
that I
Don't
sleep
lash
fuck the
out at
shit
me
out of
because
her.
I'm not a sleep fucker. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this fucking.
I think you're shitting on our problem.
I lived in a
trying to
co-ed
figure it
dorm.
out.
I lived in a co-ed dorm in college, and I remember like I started doing it again in college.
Doing it.
And I walked out I fucking took all my fucking clothes off apparently and walked out into the hallway at 1:00 in the morning with a fucking huge hard on, like just like hunt like a fucking boner werewolf. Like I'm fucking gonna hunt someone down.
And you were naked?
I was completely naked.
Wow.
And I remember like kind of coming to my senses in the
Literally.
Is that coming C-U-M-I-N-G? Or coming?
What am I doing?
Oh, I'm awake.
But like I
what happened
remember,
here?
the thing is, you can remember bits and pieces, and I thought to myself, if a girl sees me, she's gonna totally suck my dick, but no,
She's gonna mace you and stick a car key down at you,
You're lucky
idiot.
you're not a convicted sex
the only-
I know, but people. But that's happened before, dude.
Yeah.
And the guy got off because he
Literally?
No, but like the guy was like, I don't remember doing. There's a Law and Order
It's a
SVU about it.
There's a guy
whole-
who killed
But how
someone
can you prove that,
sleepwalking
though?
who got off.
I guess you have to get a neurologist to testify.
Sleepwalking is a defense, even for murder.
The only story I have
So-
similar to this is in college. I was hooked up with this girl. I was like beyond drunk. I was like shit canned.
I'm Manischewitz.
The girl was drunk as well. It was a 70s theme party, both in
Jesus.
70s attire.
You were in an
Yeah,
afro wig?
we went back,
Asshole.
Went back to the Danish's room, and I tell stories sometimes in third person. And so we get back, and I was hooking up with this girl. I think she had very wispy nipple hair. I think I finger banged her a little bit, and then we both just passed the fuck out. And then I remember, like, I was half, like you said, semi-conscious. I looked over and I was like, oh, she's just pissing on my couch right now. And then I went right back to sleep. And I woke up the next morning. I was like, oh, shit, did that happen? And I looked and there was just piss all over my couch.
Was she squatting pissing?
Yeah. Like on...
Oh!
Well,
on
like,
the couch.
like the eagle squat? Like,
Yeah,
why?
like, she was just
To
so
turn you
drunk.
on,
I think
like, hey,
she,
look
no,
at
I think
this.
she was like like blacked out and just like was like, I have to pee.
I pissed in my girlfriend's backpack in college.
It's
one
like
time. I
that
was so
sort of thing.
wasted.
Is that
So
what
I
you call
wake
her
My
butthole?
buddy got pissed. Someone pissed at on his face. We all
Was it you?
No,
R. Kelly was over.
We're all wasted, so we passed out on the floor, and he woke up, and some dude that we didn't know very well was pissing in his face, right in the living
Did you
room,
guys
on the
all-
carpet in his face.
What did you do? Like,
We threw him the fuck out.
Dude, at that medieval thing, I peed in my buddy Tom's tent. I went into his tent and stuck my head in the corner and just started peeing. He's like, bro, are you pissing in my tent? And I was like,
Yes,
"Bruh,
I am."
Bro, I would never do that to you, man. Like, as I'm fucking pissing in his tent, I was like, I would never do that to you.
Wait, do you get crazy? Like, I get dreams. Like, I've woken up and I've been awake, and I swore there was all this alien equipment all over my room, and that they were going to attack me.
Wait, what?
And I got my fucking knife out, and just
well, that would mean that someone would have to have a knife.
I go,
No, but I have something so similar to that, dude.
Jesus.
So we just got so excited, dude.
Because one time a fire truck went down the street, and I thought a comet had hit the next door neighbors. Like a
yes, that's the same thing.
And I had jumped out of bed. I jumped out of bed and like face planted into my dresser, fell on the floor. I got blood everywhere. I ran to the window. I opened it and I was like, "Is everyone okay?"
Covered
Is
in blood.
everyone okay?
How old were you?
This was it like when I was 25.
Something like that happened to me in my mid-20s. I was sleeping with my girlfriend, and I heard
Were you
the
sleepwalking?
bathroom.
I was sleeping with my girlfriend.
I heard the bathroom door close, and I go, but I was asleep. And I go, somebody's in the bathroom, and I got my big old fucking knife out, and I go, I'm gonna fucking kill him, and I kicked the bathroom door open. And all she kept saying was, nobody's here, everything's fine. I go, you don't know anything. And I fucking went in there, kicked the fucking bathroom door open, and was ready to kill someone in there. And of course, nobody
there was
in
nothing there.
And I also
I
had a
thought
problem.
she was in there.
Yeah,
You're gonna
she's
murder
like shaking
her.
a shit. You stab her to death while she's taking a dump.
I had a problem with a sock. I woke up and there was a sock on my floor, and it looked like a girl's sock. And for like 20 minutes, I ran around my apartment going, why the fuck is this sock in here? Why is there a fucking girl sock? I can't believe there's a girl sock. And then in the morning, I woke up, and it was my sock, and it was laying on the floor.
Why would it be a big problem?
Yeah,
if it was
what
a
the
girl's
fuck
sock?
is
Dude,
that?
I was sleeping.
You know,
I was,
I'm a
like,
little bit
sleepwalking.
worried about us now, bro.
You guys are you're John C. Reilly, Will Ferrell.
I think
Step
someone needs to fucking run a defragger on our brains. I think we got some kind of memory issues.
Oh,
or something.
so what happened? The dad fight. It was mutual combat. It
So
started.
yeah, I went home, and my dad's not an easy guy to work with. I know this because I spent many years working with him on a farm, which had come to blows. So this time, my brother-in-law is the peacekeeper, but my dad will bitch about whatever you're doing it wrong. And I'm older now; I don't take shit. So right off the bat, first day, he comes up to me, and I told him, I go, you better get back in that car and drive away because I'm about 5 seconds away from breaking your fucking nose.
Is that when he called?
This is in front of other people, and people are like,
"Did he call you retard?"
Your dad's such a nice guy. No, this is I'm not going to take his shit. So he gets crazy, and he huffs and puffs. He goes
Because your dad
away.
gets crazy. Your dad does not fuck around either. Your dad's
So
a
now
maniac.
all his shit that he's been collecting for years is being tossed in like this giant trash, like a.
Pretty much like an episode of Hoarders. Like when the hoarder
Yeah.
freaks out.
Oh, like
like the
a
people
freaky-
are like, "Hey, I'm throwing your stuff away."
And he
They're like,
keeps saying he's going to clean it himself, but there's no way humanly possible that he can. So we're just throwing his treasures away, and I'm just selling his equipment to like people that are coming around. He's freaking the fuck out. So you know that 5 or 6 days later, like my brother-in-law went home early, and he left me there to siphon some gas out of my dad's truck because it stopped running, and we're going to put the gas. We just filled the tank up with like $60 worth of gas, so we're going to use that gas for another truck. So my dad comes out and immediately starts getting crazy on me.
You're doing the truck wrong. You don't know how to siphon gas.
Yeah, and so I'm like, and then he starts like going on.
He called you
about
retard?
How I'm a retard, and I
About
can't
being in
read,
special ed?
and like all this crazy shit.
I don't bet your dad reading a lot of fucking novels.
It was
though,
like
so what's he
it was
doing?
like
No,
Waterboy when he would get mad.
So I walked away. I go, I
That's a
walked
chapter
away.
in Dr. Spock's How to Raise Your Child.
Call
Make
them a
sure when
retard.
you're older, you bring up all their problems, and like
Call them retard to
just,
their
like,
face.
going on like you're talentless, like all this
Oh,
crazy.
gee, taking shots at your career?
Any of the most horrible things that you could say to pick out of a kid's childhood was said. So
And
I
he
go,
knew it all 'cause he's
I
your
walk,
dad. He
I
knew all your
walk away.
secrets.
I walk away, and I'm just like. And I'm obviously fuming. Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't take shit from
And you're a
anybody.
black belt, too.
So then I go back up, and then I spit in his face. And then he goes to punch
Why
me.
is that your move? Are you a Komodo
He goes
dragon?
to
What the
punch
fuck
me,
is that?
and I grab
Disrespect.
Bruce Willis style from what's that movie with him and Damon Wayans?
Oh, Last Football Hero or
Last
whatever.
Boy
Last
Scout.
Boy
Last
Scout.
Boy
Last
Scout,
Boy
grab
Scout.
the fucking punch and just fucking go crazy, and then
Did you crush his hand and get
Yes,
taken down to
and
a
I
knee?
go- I go-
wrestling.
but my dad's 6'6". He's
Yeah,
a big
he's a
guy,
big dude.
And he shrank a little bit. He's older, but,
Osteoporosis.
and I go, there is nothing you can fucking physically do to me. I was like, how does that feel? And so he goes fucking crazy doing all this shit, and then he's like,
Wait, what's all this shit? You moved your hands
he
around
goes
like
like
old-timey boss.
flailing.
Are
Fucking
you just
punches.
one-on-one at a parking lot, or are there like other
No,
people?
we're
around?
inside.
You're in the living room of your
Yeah.
house?
Oh, you're
And so-
inside. I thought you were outside.
No, this
I see
went
a
back
screen door
inside.
getting busted through in about
We
5
were in
seconds.
the office, and then it escalates to inside.
Step into
the
my
living room.
office.
So
Or dojo.
he's
Were you wearing
getting-
shoes or were you in socks?
Yeah, we were in the driving shoes. You
I
always
put
had to
on
wear?
my karate gi and went.
No,
back.
what were you just wearing? Like jeans? And a
It was cold. It was October.
shorts.
No, I was wearing.
a belly shirt. It was
wearing
hot.
short. I
He's
was
wearing
wearing.
assless chaps.
It was October.
His moving chaps. You know the one.
It was October in fucking Indiana.
So like
I'm
a
wearing
Carhartt
jeans.
jacket?
Yeah, and I'm wearing shoes. So he does the only thing he can do at this point.
Spin
'cause
kick.
He's like, I'm calling the cops on you. So I take his back and I get him a rear naked choke. He's
all those years watching UFC. Really
he's
paid
out
off.
instant. Well, I dabbled in jujitsu. I know a few. So he's out cold, and I take his head and I just smash it on the fucking ground.
Wait, he's out cold,
Nice.
dude.
Yeah, I know.
Now, what
Well,
were other people saying?
Nobody
It's Christmas!
was there. Oh, nobody was there.
It's Christmas!
Nobody was there. So,
So
then
you were like,
they
oh,
were
it's
saying.
around.
So then I go, oh fuck! His lifeless body laid
If he
there.
died, would you be like, oh, he had a stroke and hit his head as he fell?
Dude, I go for like 3 seconds. I go, holy fuck, he's dead. And then I
Do the
ran.
Hulk Hogan arm raise.
So I go. I did the only thing. I did the only thing I could do.
Pissed on him.
I ran, but
Fuck
then I
him
go,
when he was
fuck, I
asleep.
got to make sure for my own, so I know whether I'm
whether I can
Hold
jack
on.
off of this later or
Listen,
not.
so I go, I got to know whether he's dead. If he's dead, I got to make a plan to escape. I got to pack a bag tonight and leave. Or if he's alive.
Wait, leave tonight? You gotta leave right then. There's no time to pack.
Well,
dude.
no one's going to know for a while. So I go, I got to get the fuck out of here. But if he's alive, then whatever. Haha, I win in your face.
So he grabs his
I
gun.
start shaking him, nothing, and then finally he comes to, and then I run out, and my mom's pulling in because she sensed something. She goes, you two were there alone, and I sensed something was about to go bad. So she picked
I
me up.
sensed that my husband was dead at the hands of my son.
Because his ghost came, save me! I'm dying.
Oh, like
Ryan has a pillow over his face in the real story.
I'm the bad guy.
I'm not saying you're the bad guy.
No,
You're
not the bad
cuckoo's
guy.
nesting him at the end of this fucking trying to squeeze the life out of him.
This is a lot like Home Alone meets Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah,
where the
you know
person
what?
alone is
So needless to say, we went several years without just talking.
Discussing that.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
So now,
and Indiana. My dad.
But we can all laugh about it now. It wasn't.
does your dad laugh
wasn't
about
as
it?
hilarious, right, when it was happening.
I would
What's
say
that?
his dad's blocked it out.
Did he call you like a week later and say he's going to kill you?
No, but he's
When I was in college, my dad called me when he was divorced my mom and said that I took her side, even though I was neutral like Switzerland.
Oh, well,
he said he
I've
was
had-
going to fly to the state I was at and kill me with his bare hands if I didn't move.
My dad
24
came.
hours.
My dad did something to my mom, and then I went out there to go. Let's talk about it with our fists, and he locked himself in one of the rooms. And I was kicking the door.
Oh,
down.
he pulled a Dean Gelber, like when Dean would lock himself in the office when trouble would happen at the
Yeah,
comedy
well, he
store.
locked himself in the kitchen, and I was kicking the
knives.
door down, and when the door opened, he had a knife, and he chased me with it. But that's not as good as the time when we were younger. My dad chased me and my buddy. We were working
with a dildo?
No, we were working on
muddy
the farm.
dildo.
It's the bigger love of the family.
So we were working in the field, and
I've got all my knives with me.
Do you want to hear the fucking stories?
I want to
Shut the fuck up and listen.
I want to sing a couple more.
Yeah. Cats in the cradle. I just killed my dad. He's alone. in his own
I'm not going to tell the rest.
You and a buddy are working on the
The day
farm.
Ryan's father died, we were singing.
I just killed you
Ryan's
with my
father
hands.
just died. Put him in a chokehold in the living room and don't know if he survived.
And good old boys going to Clan parades.
Why'd you have to go on and die?
I got to take a piss.
So, okay, finish the story. We'll finish this episode. So you
Oh,
and
all right,
your
well,
buddy.
So they were working in the field. We're fucking around, making jokes. Next thing you know, he starts yelling at us. He grabs an axe and he chases us into a cornfield.
What the
Was he gonna
fuck?
kill the buddy too?
Was he yelling
I don't know,
Malachi?
Somebody else's kid.
At the time, you're too young to realize whether he's going to kill anybody, but you just think maybe. But we're dying laughing while he's chasing us with the axe.
Is he fast?
He's wily,
athlete.
you know. You've
No,
heard
I
the
know, but like
stories.
at that age, like were you worried he was going to catch you?
He has a fucking axe. Who cares? You
But he
trip
said
on
they were laughing.
trip on a shoelace, you're fucking dead.
It was also hilarious. But no, he wasn't going to catch
That's what was missing from Friday the 13th is people giggling as they were running away.
Oh, and also all those holiday movies like Miracle on 34th Street.
But that's the. I'm not going to get into any more
Conflict stories.
The good news is I'm going to Thanksgiving this year at his house with his old man.
He's calmed
so
down, but
if there's any battles with like over the last
Dude, you
turkey
gotta
leg,
Well, dude,
film it on your phone, dude, for sure.
he's a maniac. I mean, he took a bar stool in his own bar and broke it over a guy's face.
his old man is like one
And
of the
a
he's
kid
one
that
of
we
the
went to high
crazier
school with,
life
his
stories.
father was in the bar and always talks about his dad seeing my dad break a bar stool over another guy's face. to
His old
kid.
man's like led this Patrick Swayze.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like Paul Bunyan, legendary life.
Yeah. And you beat him with your hands. Does that feel good?
It feels real good. When I was 15, I
Where's
landed
that
a real
training,
good
man?
kidney punch on him. Like I was real proud of it. I was in martial arts for only a few years, but I really
Jeff's
had.
happy because he lost a few
good
pounds. He was 15 to win a swim race. You're dropping your old man with a kidney punch.
I remember the time he choked his old man out. I think I was at home because it was around the
I called
holidays.
it.
He goes, dude, I did it.
No, he just called me and like very nonchalantly he was like, I kind of like I choked my dad out earlier. And I was just like, what? Like, tell me the story.
I needed to talk to somebody about it.
Jeez, why is your Jeff?
Holy
Poor Jeff.
fuck.
I don't need therapy for all the shit that Ryan won't go to therapy for, dude.
Me and my old man. Oh, I have how much time do we have? I have a quick story.
yeah.
The only time where my old man
You're playing Scrabble.
no, my old man spanked me a little bit as a kid, but nothing. That was about it. I was never grounded, never punished, really. Kind of a liberal house. I was allowed to swear, unlike you pussy. Do it. So there was a day I was like 15 or 16, way too old for what is about to happen in this story.
I would prefer the term front bottom. Please.
Hi-oh! So my old man is laying. It's a Saturday afternoon, and my old man like sleeps the whole weekend. And he was in his tighty whities and like a white shirt, and he's just laying on his side on the bed watching TV. And I walked in the room, and I had a racquetball in my hand, and I saw him, and in my head, I was like, you know, it'd be hilarious if I throw this racquetball at his balls. So I throw, and I'm 15, 16. There's no reason that thought should be in my
Well,
head.
you shouldn't be looking at your dad's balls if you're 15 or 16 either.
So,
man.
I wasn't staring at the balls.
Look at my dad sitting there with his nice sack. And I look at that. You know what? Fuck him and his nice sack. I'm going to hit him.
That's a little.
Who the fuck does he think he is?
I wanted to destroy
Sack,
something beautiful.
I wish I had his sack. So, because I don't have it, I'm going to destroy it.
It was a point of contention.
Stained glass window in the Jewish
He
I
did
am
have a beautiful.
flaunting it around, slapping it on
Put
my
that
mom's
sack in my
face.
face.
So I took the racquetball and I did literally very lightly just finessed it in there.
Like, for how far away?
Like 5 feet.
That's still going to hurt
It's
a
got a little bit of
nutsack,
carry
man.
there.
But
gravity.
it just really
Hit the perfect
it
spot.
Connected.
Oh, made that, like, dollop
the 100%.
sound.
Like it's like hitting a baseball. You know it's a home run when it hits the bat. And so it hits him, and I like. And he lunges from his side to punch me in the face, but it literally halfway, the ball pain overtook him.
Oh, it crumples
and he
up?
just keels over on his stomach, and he just looks like a dead bear. And I'm like doing that thing when you're a kid, like I didn't want to get too close because he may attack. It may have been a fake, and I was just like, "Are you all right?" Like I didn't know what to do. And then finally, literally after 5 minutes of me just standing there, him completely motionless, he turns over, still kind of holding the balls, and he just gave me a speech about how you never mess with another man's balls and it's dangerous and you can cause serious
Sexually or in a
And
pain-inducing
then,
way.
but there's a silver lining to that cloud because you won first place on America's Funniest Home Video.
You didn't even know your brother and sister were recording.
No,
it.
that was the worst
His
part. is it
Jewish
worked.
dad has nuts fall off.
Jewish dad, Jewish nuts and racquetball.
Oh, shit.
Wins and there's your family sitting there.
All right, that's gonna do it for this
Dan,
episode.
can I just say one thing?
Yes.
I'm going to spend the next 2 days regretting everything that I have
Oh,
talked
I
about.
thought you were going to do
Because
the
it will
classic
be-
Ryan O'Neal. Hey, the last hour and 10 minutes have all been make-em-ups and skits and jokes, and none of them happened.
After we
They're
recorded
flights of
that
fancy.
last one a few days ago, I drove around and I was like, God, this is going to be out in the universe forever.
Just think about the fans in Sweden, dude.
yeah,
they
the
want to
23
hear it.
people in Sweden.
I hope
thank you so much for
people
listening.
fucking subscribe to this because I poured my heart and soul out. And I have feelings like being raped.
right.
Dude, Keith Richards
On
wrote
the-
a book about snorting his old man's ashes.
Okay, on that note, this is
But that guy was successful before he did
this
it.
has been the episode
If I have to get a
about-
regular job
Jesus.
and interview,
You got a day job.
You're not getting a regular job. None of us
Who's going to
are.
hire you?
All right.
This has been the episode where Ryan described how he killed his father with his bare hands.
This is the holiday show.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, hey, we'll have a post-Thanksgiving where Jeff can maybe
Post-Thanksgiving, post-mortem
retell
on
some
who's dead.
stories of Steve
If
O'Neill.
your dad kills you at Thanksgiving, can you have him stand in for you?
He'll keep his shit together if other people are around. And believe me, Jeff,
Witnesses, you mean.
Jeff will walk away thinking he's the most charming, greatest guy in the world.
I'm
I've
just
met
going
him,
to
I've met
say
him.
right now, if your dad murdered you, I don't know if we would want to have him on the podcast.
Maybe it's a,
But you never
some
know.
Hannibal Lecter kind of thing.
Yeah, but DeWitt, what if he also got pizza lip and slept rape? He's like,
oh, maybe that's where it came from.
Can I just say something right now? There's no way that my dad could beat me and kill me.
Okay,
Not even a
please
chance.
don't
We
say that
understand.
because I don't want your dad to
What
hear
about
this
if firearms
and get a
were
2x4 with
Dude,
a railroad
I
tie.
will disarm that guy before he can load his shit.
I hope I'm wearing a vest.
wow,
I'm wearing a
knock
vest
on
under
wood.
my sweater that it's Thanksgiving.
Ooh, you're wearing a sweater. That's nice.
I don't know.
Class-
I
class it
believe
up.
you. This is the Boner City podcast.
This is the Boner City, USA podcast. Can you be quiet? I have to sign off.
That was
It's
a
the Boner City.
slideshow.
Yeah, I know it was. The Boner City USA podcast presented by DorkSplosion.com. Please check out DorkSplosion's line of web series, t-shirts, everything else on their website. And please subscribe to us on iTunes. You can talk to Ryan and Jeff on Twitter at Danish and O'Neill on Twitter and Andrew Dewitt at Dewittiot on Twitter. And you can just Twitter the show at I'm trying to wrap everything up in a bow. Do it, you son of a bitch. And you can tweet at the show and ask questions at twitter.com/BonerCityUSA. Thank you for listening.
Oi, 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 oi.
See you next week. Bye.